Hey wrestling fans, this is Rick from rickswrestlingblog.com. I want to talk a little TNA today, TNA Impact. Hey, the latest episode, as of this recording, was last week there, and just Thanksgiving night. And tell you what, the show's been getting better and better. They've been really using their stars the way they should be. And you've got some storylines going on that have got some good, interesting things, but you've got a good mix of different characters in there, which is really making it pretty interesting. So TNA. If you talk about TNA, number one, Dixie Carter's finally coming out and getting more involved and doing more things and talking more, and she's behaving as the bad boss as she should be. And I tell you what, it's getting more attention. And if you haven't seen it lately, you're kind of missing out. So she's been the bad girl. Constantly this whole AJ thing with her, okay? So, and AJ has left the company and has been wrestling down in Mexico now for a while, and has been traveling around and wrestling. But, I'm sure that's all part of the TNA thing. However, the storyline is that he has left TNA and that he's going out there and just doing whatever he wants with this title, and that Dixie Carter's angry because he took off with her title. So but it's a good segment, and even every time Dixie comes out to speak to the audience, which she's been doing pretty much on every show, and most of the time to the start off the show, all you hear in the background is AJ, 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 and it's really some good stuff because you're seeing that the fans are really getting into this, and really, they want to see AJ, and we haven't seen him now for a few weeks. But I'll tell you what, when he shows up, which will probably be very soon, when he shows up, it's going to be a big deal, and it's just kind of gonna explode. So I like the whole character that she's putting on, the bad boss type character. Okay, there's a lot of other characters though going on in TNA right now that with their storylines that are going on that make things really interesting. So one thing that I really like that TNA's been doing, if you've noticed, if you've been watching them lately, they've been putting on what would normally be their pay-per-views on pay-per-view, but they're putting them on live television on Spike TV, and they're absolutely free, which is great. I mean, WWE every once in a while throws out their main event, but that's not necessarily a pay-per-view. When's the last time you saw WWE put on a pay-per-view for free? Unless it's a true pay-per-view that happened many years ago, and they're putting it on TV for free. I mean, that's happened, but outside of that, no. So TNA is doing something different, which has been pretty good. And I don't know what the ratings have been looking like, but I would think that they've been much better because of doing all these pay-per-views live and for free on Spike TV. Some points that I wanted to talk about with TNA. You've got, for example, EC3, Ethan Carter III. Now, first of all, and actually before I dive a little too much into him, the music that TNA uses, they really need to revamp their music and do something different with their music. I don't know, maybe invest more money into someone creating music that's a better blend, a better mix for each of these wrestlers for their entrances. So, for example, EC3 actually has a really good entrance. If you ever see how it comes out with the music, and then the EC3 comes out, and Ethan Carter III, and he's a rookie who's coming in and starting out, and he's got some good stuff going on with him. He continues to fight the same old guys, Norv, Fernum, and Dewey Barnes. And most recently, he took on Curryman, and I tell you what, it's kind of entertaining because they're obviously jobbers, and so he's going on with this undefeated streak, and that he's so great, and the world needs the Carters, and all good stuff. So pretty soon, hopefully, we'll be seeing him get some real challenges here, and I could see him going for the X Division title and winning that title, but shouldn't stop there because so far he's developing okay. So we'll see how he continues to go. Then you have other teams out there. For example, the Bromans. They are your TNA Tag Team Champions, but these guys are pretty entertaining. I mean, they're complete dorks, but I mean they're pretty entertaining when you watch them. Without the loud noises that they make and the obnoxious little segments that they have. And then now they have Zema Ion, who's their their personal DJ. So anyway, these guys are annoying, but they're actually fun. They're fun to watch. Another great tag team, Bad Influence, to me is the best tag team there in the TNA. These guys are true characters, man. You don't have to give these guys a title. These guys can just entertain by just being themselves. I mean, they are clowns. They are funny. They, they'll dress for occasions. They will, anything you want from these guys, they do it, and they do it well. So it's always fun to watch them. And not only that, these guys can wrestle. That's a bonus when these guys can wrestle. That's one of the main differences between WWE and TNA, because WWE is a lot more entertainment, and they're focusing on that entertainment. And you don't necessarily have to be a great wrestler, because there's many people in the WWE that are not very good wrestlers at all. But they can entertain, they can motivate a crowd, and that's their job. That's what they do. TNA is a little bit more focused on wrestling itself, a good storyline. But their storylines they don't normally go completely out of whack like a WWE one does. So less characterization in TNA, more wrestling, which is good. It differentiates. It makes the two so different that you're watching one for one reason, you're watching another for a different reason. Then you got characters like Curt Angle, James Storm, Gunner, Magnus. You got characters that have a good. I look at James Storm, and to me he's a Steve Austin copycat, but we kind of need another Steve Austin. We haven't had a Steve Austin in a long time. He's actually pretty good. You've got Magnus. I personally don't like Magnus at all. I think he's a bit of a waste. In my opinion, he hasn't developed a very good character. I don't think he's not that great at speaking. So I don't know. I just don't see this guy. I don't see this guy being the future face of the company. So, but anyway, that's completely my opinion. But I like people like Bobby Roode, a guy who can wrestle, a guy who can talk. He's got some good music. He's got a good entrance. He's got a good appearance. I mean, Bobby Roode's the entire package. I mean, this is the guy that deserves to be the Ric Flair of the TNA. Okay, he comes in with some good music, which is kind of representative of the Nature Boy, with that big, uprising type of music that's bringing him on, and he comes in with the robes and everything. So in a way, he's a little bit of a copycat of Ric Flair, but he's really good, and I think he's makes an excellent champion. You've got people like Chris Sabin, who is currently your X Division champion, and I tell you what, this guy used to be part of the Motor City Machine Guns, but ever since that team kind of broke up, he's come into his own. First came in, he's been a face for as long as I've known him. He was a face. However, recently he turned heel, and I gotta tell you, that was the best move for him. Turning heel, he's turned into the biggest jerk. He's got the hottest girlfriend in Velvet Sky, and then he regains the X Division title, which is pretty nice. I think he was X Division title this year. Then he won the World TNA title, and then won the X Division again. So he's got 3 titles in the last year. Really good stuff. So, and he's been pretty entertaining, especially as a heel. So and the TNA's got some characters that I honestly could do without. ODB, she's a female Steve Austin, and I think, to me, in my opinion, she's just a waste. Joseph Park, just bring back Abyss. Get rid of Joseph Park. The guy's just not interesting at all. Samoa Joe, I'm a little mixed with this guy, because sometimes I like him, and sometimes I think this guy's just boring. I don't know. Eric Young, he's kind of the same way with me. Sometimes he can be entertaining, and sometimes this guy is just a waste. Anyway, but there's a lot of good things going on with TNA, a lot of good storylines going on, and it's funny how the jobbers in TNA are not necessarily jobbers, because there's such a good blend going across. With WWE, you know that you have your certain jobbers. You know that there's the Santino Morellas and the I don't know how many other ones there are really, but there's a good handful that are always jobbers that are always going to lose. Okay, however, on the other side at TNA, you have a handful of jobbers, but it's a smaller amount, and these guys actually will still win a match. So it's kind of hard to say, because you'll have the top people losing matches, and then those that would be a mid card winning matches against sometimes those top people, and so they blend it really well. So anyway, TNA in general, TNA has been doing a really nice job with their storylines and getting more people involved, and I think just kind of growing their presence in the wrestling world, and it's really got my attention. I did a few months ago buy my very first pay-per-view. I'm keeping an eye out for their next pay-per-view. And when the next one comes, I'll have to take a look at that one because I'm seriously going to consider purchasing it. So we'll see how that goes. But that is my my review on TNA Impact as of the end of November here. All right, thanks for watching.